And welcome back. Thank you very much for watching this new episode. Again, thank you very much, the same as previously, but for me each and every episode is a new journey, a new set of elements that appear, and in this episode what I want to talk about is the thing I had at least two epiphanies about. This is about shifting from focusing on negative consequences, so on threats, to focusing on growing, so seeing the positive consequences that can happen, the positive perspectives that we can have. And for me, the first epiphany that I had on my journey was related to expertise that I have in cybersecurity, as I mentioned already. And this really was about that most of the time, initially, cybersecurity, information security, enterprise security, all those types of technical or corporate security perspectives, they were focusing on finding the threats, modeling the threats, finding where the threat agent, so the attacker, can enter the company, can enter the solution, what are the weaknesses in the software. All those things related to negative things that can happen for the company, that can happen for the product, that can happen for as well hardware device, and that was the main focus. All those steps in security, they were focusing on checking how someone can break the solution. I had the new view about this after a certain training that I underwent, and it said, okay, for the enterprise environment, for the business, the security as well should be enabler. Not only it should look for the threats, but as well security should identify the potential opportunities that the company might have in a form of really creating the secure solutions out of the box, and their way of potentially having advantage over the competition, and having much better solution, the solution that has much better quality, because ultimately all those opportunities related to better quality, harder to break solution, and solution that enabled a much more secure environment. So for me, that was a new perspective of security, where it really enabled company to run in a secure manner without too many controls that would limit its growth. Because ultimately the company needs to work, needs to have income, needs to provide solutions that will be working, not necessarily the solutions that are in constant remake phases, just to make it as secure as possible without identifying what real functionalities we need. The second epiphany was on the events related to human nature, and as most of you might know, we have different types of elements that work in real time. So we have the rational mind, we have the mind, the mammal mind, but as well we have different new levels of having the perspective when we turn on our spiritual aspect as well. Why this is interconnected is because we are one as human being, and all those elements work together, and all those elements have impact. And unfortunately, maybe for some time we were trained really to use and abuse the rational mind, and we were for a long time directed really to hunt for the threats, even by parents while starting to walk, just not to hit something while eating something, not to just throw it out while drinking, not to spill it, while riding a bicycle, not to go down with the bicycle. We were used to, or we are used to, identify all those threats that can happen in certain moment, and rather than really focusing on what we can do instantly in the very moment. And for me, that was something interesting as well, that we tend to over react, we tend to over describe the number of threats that exist in our environment, and their likelihood. If all those threats that we identify, they are likely to happen, did they happen in the past? If yes, is the context the same right now as in the past? As you probably know, our perception of the world is minuscule in terms of how many things are happening in the universe. This is something that would tell that the universe repeats each and every situation in exactly the same manner, so that you do it in exactly the same way, and hardly ever, if any time it happens, usually the opportunities evolve with certain elements, so that you have opportunity to grow, basically. And for me that was quite eye-opening, and I started to think, okay, so why we are using still this mammal mind, this rational thinking that is focused only on modeling the threats? Why we are not focusing on growing? And right now, why we are not using our brain to really model how we can grow? And for me, I think that when I discovered by reading books, by attending some webinars, by meeting great people that were talking about it, was that when you start to really connect to the world with your heart, you start to see much more opportunities rather than threats, because heart, God, your third eye, they all give you the possibility of connecting to knowledge base that is way beyond the knowledge base that we have in here, the knowledge base that has been put into memory in here by our own experience, by looking at experience of our family, but looking at the experience of the companies that we were working in, by the experience of colleagues, by the experience that we've read from the books. This one has access to knowledge base that knows most of the things that happen, and knows if the whole context of those things, because the ultimate answer to focusing is to know the context. Usually that's why the questions that you can ask are a very good starting point to say, okay, why I'm focusing only on the threats? I want to grow, I want to focus on the growth, I want to focus on creation, so how I can do it, rather than focusing what obstacles I might have, or focusing on the obstacles that already appeared. Because as well Tony Robbins mentions, and as well quantum physics mentions, is that your focus is the direction your energy would likely go and would likely be consumed. So really start thinking about your energy as something that you invest. So would you rather invest in modeling all those threats that can happen to you and really bringing those threats in as likely possibilities, or would you rather focus on the possibilities of creation that you have, focusing on what you can create, what you can build, what you can develop, what opportunities exist that you can grab, what opportunities exist in your environment, how you can help others, how you can serve others. Would you rather focus on that? And with that question, I want to thank you for watching this episode, and I want to invite you to watch the next one tomorrow. Thank you very much, and enjoy the evening. Bye bye.